All right, folks, how you doing? Apologies about my appearance. I'm recording this literally at 5 in the morning. Just wanted to get my thoughts on Dr. Kirk Honda, psychology in Seattle, and his analysis and breakdown of Love is Blind, particularly Jimmy and Chelsea. Now, I've been very critical in the comment section in his videos, calling him Dr. Simp and other things. And to my mind, he is very much a simp because he doesn't really understand what he's dealing with. Now, maybe a wee bit harsh because I haven't put this video out yet explaining how and why. You see, Dr. Kirk doesn't understand narcissism. He fundamentally doesn't understand it. He has a grasp of the concept, but he doesn't have the knowledge of the likes of an HG tutor. And this is where HG tutor is so valuable because when he's looking at Chelsea, he does not understand who and what he is dealing with. He is dealing with a narcissist, a victim narcissist, I would say, if I was going by Cadra. As for sub school, I don't really know. I'm not HG tutor. I'm only a disciple of tutor. I'm not tutor himself. But it's very clear that Chelsea is absolutely a narcissist. She exhibits all the signs. Victim mentality, very much one, distortion of reality, rewriting of history, lack of boundary recognition, manipulation. And Jimmy, to my mind, is a normal. Unquestionably, he is a normal. He's not an empath because if he were an empath, he would have the emotional addiction to the narcissist. And he clearly doesn't because he recognized Chelsea for what she was and split up with her and, went his separate way, even though he's still in her fuel matrix, but doesn't realize it. But the thing with Dr. Like I say, it's 5 in the morning. The thing with Dr. Kirk Honda is that, or Honda, sorry, like I say, 5 a.m. But the thing with Dr. Kirk, we'll just stick with Dr. Kirk, that's much easier. The thing with Dr. Kirk is he'll go on this analysis for 3 or 4 minutes at a time and say, this is abuse, this is manipulation. He's absolutely right, it is. And all this, and then he'll walk it back, and suddenly he'll almost like catch himself. What am I saying? Oh wait, there's an audience here. I better be careful what I'm saying. I better walk that back in case people think that I'm sexist, or in case people think this, or in case people think that. You have to get rid of that thinking. You have to flush all that out and not give a fuck what people are thinking and stick to the truth. Because if you tell the truth, people will respect you. But if you're mealy mouthed and you try to walk back what you're saying after 3 or 4 minutes of being spot on, and then oh wait, there might be a female audience, and they might take offense, and I might get cancelled, and I call it the arrows of might. And the funny thing is, it's anything but mighty. But suddenly psychologically, you've got the arrows of might coming in like this, like an arrow shower. But if I might get cancelled, or I might get sued, and it's very clear to me that that's what he's doing. Because I'm not stupid. I can see and I can hear and I see what's going on. So that's what I don't like about Dr. Kirk is he'll be right and he'll be spot on. And then it's only so oh wait it's wait I don't want to be accused of being a misogynist. Narcissism has nothing to do with misogyny. Narcissism is narcissism. And when you're dealing with the likes of Chelsea or Danielle, you also done Danielle as well. What you have to zero in on is the narcissism, the narcissistic dynamic between intimate partner, primary source, and narcissist. But in the case of Jimmy, because he's not a narcissist, that's very clear to me. He's absolutely not a narcissist. He disengaged very quickly from Chelsea because he didn't fully realize what he was dealing with, but he had enough of an idea to realize this is toxic, this ain't going to work. She's a perpetual victim. She distorts reality. She makes things up. You have to remove gender from it and realize the core root of the problem. If you don't, you cannot solve it. Stage one of solving any problem, recognize it and be honest about it and face it. Because if you do not, you cannot solve it. And Dr. Kirk's problem, and it's not really his fault to an extent, maybe he should know more, given his profession, but A lot of people don't realize what they're dealing with. Danielle from a previous season and Chelsea are narcissists. Now, narcissism is formed in childhood. H.G. Tudor makes this very explicit, very clear. And by the way, there are male narcissists as well, but we're just sticking with this example. As I always say, one thing at a time. Okay? One thing at a time. Right now, we're talking about Chelsea and Danielle to an extent, right? Because narcissism is not gender exclusive, but narcissism is formed in childhood. It's formed by two fundamental things. It's formed by a lack of control environment and a genetic predisposition. And 1 in 6 people are narcissists. And dating shows like Love is Blind are going to be an absolute haven for narcissists because 99% of them are subconscious. Another example would have been Cole and Zanab. While we're on the subject, Zanab very clearly a narcissist, very clearly, and Cole again being a normal because he said that he wasn't going to go through with the wedding to Zanab on the wedding day, but the way that Zanab watch a channel called the Narcissist Watcher, by the way, he makes an excellent breakdown and analysis of Zanab's behavior. I'll link it below. But going to Chelsea is when you watch HG Tudor's videos, when you read his books, and I've got several of his books, they're all over there. When you realize the mentality and the mindset of the creature of a narcissist, and you're watching Chelsea in action, it's like one after the other. Ticks all the boxes one after the other. And this is where I've got such a problem with Dr. Kirk, because he doesn't understand what he's dealing with, and he's being mealy-mouthed and walking back what he's saying, being spot on for 3 or 4 minutes, and I suddenly realize, oh wait, oh shit, I'm going to get cancelled if I don't walk it back and say, oh, she deserves grace. Listen, there's no helping narcissists. That's what that's what I respect about H.G. Tudor, where he's pointing it out. And when I'm sitting watching Dr. Kirk, I'm like, mate, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time because you don't know what you're dealing with here. He's talking about, he has couples therapy and they come to him, people like Chelsea and all this sort of thing. And Jimmy, this. No, what you need to do is follow what he's saying. Once you know, you go. Once you know that you're dealing with a narcissist, you cut all ties and you walk away because you cannot save them. Narcissism is rooted in childhood trauma. It's also rooted in a genetic predisposition, which means it is literally in your blood. It's in your genes. And once that's activated, there's no walking it back. There's no turning it off. It's like the broken faucet is going to pour forever, you know. But Dr. Kirk doesn't know. And when he's talking about, and several of his analysis, he's been talking about when he's been in a session clearly with a narcissist and he doesn't know it. And he says something which has triggered them and he feels bad about it. Very clear to me, by the way, that Dr. Kirk is an empath. That's very, very clear to me. Because if he was a normal, he would have had the insight to realize that narcissists cannot actually be helped. But being an empath, he thinks that they can. That's the fundamental weakness of all empaths. They think they can actually help narcissists when they actually cannot. They're wasting their time and they're subjecting themselves to a lot of abuse and a lot of misbehavior that they don't need to, because empaths are kind of naive that way. Not their fault. It's just how it is. But when he's talking about several therapy sessions where he's had clearly a narcissist, and I can tell listening to him, he's talking about a narcissist here, very clear to me, because again, I've got the Tudor switch on, I've got the Tudor brain on and the Tudor filter, and I realize he's talking about a narcissist. He's talking about this person accused him of being calling them a piece of shit, and he's like phoning them and he's stressing out and all this. Oh, I hope they don't think I really think this, and I hope they really don't, but I never said that. And I'm like, oh, Dr. Kirk, if you knew what you were dealing with, you wouldn't be beating yourself up because you don't know what you're dealing with. And people are going to say, oh, but he's been a therapist for 20, 30 years, blah, blah, blah. He knows more than you. Well, in some ways, undoubtedly he does, but he has not identified the core problem, which is narcissism. Chelsea cannot be helped. Chelsea cannot be saved, nor can Danielle, nor can Zanab, nor can any of the narcissists who go on to reality TV shows like Love is Blind. All you can do is walk away from them and leave them to themselves, and don't get involved with that trap, because it is a trap. It's rooted too deep in the old grey matter. It's in their blood. Fundamentally, it's in their blood because it's a genetic predisposition, remember, and it's triggered by childhood trauma. And there was one thing that Dr. Kirk said that I really agree with. You did get one thing right. You can never fully treat them. No, Dr. Kirk, you cannot treat them at all. You were kind of half right there. But understand what you are dealing with. Dr. Kirk doesn't know what he's dealing with. Check out HG Tudor, check out Narcissism, educate yourself on this because this will really open your eyes. Chelsea, not her fault because it is triggered, first of all, by the genetic predisposition, and second of all, by childhood trauma. And obviously, she did go through some shit when she was younger, but watch it again. All her interactions, her fights with Jimmy, you can see, you can literally pinpoint when the creature, the narcissism, starts kicking in like this. And it's just one after the other, after the other, after it. Literally, all the signs come out very, very quickly that she is a narcissist. Distortion of reality, delusion, victim mentality, rewriting of history. It all comes flooding out. And when you know what you're looking at, it's really obvious. Really obvious. Chelsea is not a sophisticated narcissist at all. She's much lower on the narcissist spectrum. And in fact, she's so obvious that even Dr. Simp realizes that she is an abuser and Jimmy is very much the victim. He absolutely is. I don't know why people say that they don't like Jimmy. Jimmy did absolutely nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing. Quite the opposite. He was trying to placate her all the time. Jimmy was absolutely fucking hammered every step of the way. I don't know how the hell he did it. Probably just because the cameras were there. I would have been out of there much faster. After the first fight, I would have been like out the fucking door. I'd have been like, nah, fuck this. I'd just go to the producers and say, listen, I'm just going to be straight with you. I ain't marrying this broad. There's something way off with her. She's a narcissist. I'm not going to be the victim. I'm not going to be the intimate partner primary source of this victim, of this narcissist. I'm not going to be the victim of this narcissist. And it was the same with Danielle. When you know what you're looking at. Anyway, thanks for watching and hope you got something out of this. And I'll see you next time.